Oh man, that was tough trying to figure out how to do this. For someone being as technically sound as I am, I cannot figure out what happened there. So let's see if you can hear me. I'm going to type in, can you hear and see me? Can you hear and see me? Anybody? Let's see my control room. Got that there. So that started streaming now. Should be live. Can you see me? Here. How's this coming? Any better? I could actually see myself. I've got a pad on my left, so I'm looking at the pad over my left just to make sure that I can see myself. I'm going to turn it up slightly. How's this coming? Any better? All right, so I could hear me as well. Good deal. All right, finally. So now I'm gonna switch back. I gotta share my screen. Well, first, welcome to my broadcast. It was one of those things trying to figure out, all right, how am I going to do this? Where am I going to go? I'm sitting on my back porch right now. So it's actually a cool day here in Florida. So I was figuring, all right, let's see if I could do it outside instead of inside. So every now and then you're going to see me look to my left or right. That's me looking at my actual pad that just want to make sure I'm seeing everything okay. So that's my check. All right, I'm going to share my screen. And thanks for sitting in. My screen is going to be a little bit different here. Uh, I started out doing a presentation, and I was going to do a PowerPoint presentation and set it up that way, but I decided I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. So I'm going to share my entire screen. I'm going to minimize that so you guys don't see all of that. I'm going to minimize this one as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up a couple of things so you can see. And one of the things I was looking for is my LinkedIn page. And I don't actually have that available, but I do have the LinkedIn article that I wrote recently, which was 7 tips of starting your own safety consulting business. So with this 7 tips of starting your own safety consulting business, I'm going to use this to start us off. And then after we go through that, then I'll go through the rest and just kind of give you an idea. I started my consulting business in '08, and I was originally a water and wastewater operator that worked his way up through the ranks. I was a safety consultant after a long time. When I went on my own, originally I was just going to be a trainer, and I thought I'll just train water and wastewater guys in not only safety and health but process control. And I started my business technically in '08 while I was still a plant superintendent at a wastewater facility in Florida. So as a superintendent, my boss told me, hey, Sheldon, everybody should be incorporated. So I was like, all right, I think I agree with that. So I thought, what can I do? I can teach. I'm good at teaching. So let me see if I can do a job teaching. So the first thing I had to figure out was, what should I do with a name? Initially, I was going to do Sheldon Primus Consulting Services or something to that effect. And again, I knew safety and I also knew water and wastewater. So those are the 2 things that I was really aware of. What I didn't know was how to be a businessman. But I knew that I didn't want my business name to be just identified with one thing, because if it was, then eventually I'm going to have to change that. So even if I wanted to do Sheldon Primus Consulting, then everyone would be expecting Sheldon Primus Consulting. So if I ever developed uh, to the point where I needed to hire people, and then now I'm going to have to send someone else as my representative, and is that going to be something misleading to my clients? And then Sheldon Primus Consulting doesn't say what type of consulting it is and a few other details. So that first part of my article where I wrote about the name, what is the name, and if you don't have LinkedIn, you can find this article. Even right now, you can open a tab that says safetyculture.online, and you're going to see the consulting tab, and that's the one that you click on, and then you get to see this article, but it should be on the home page. So I decided that I was going to make my name a little bit more of a generic name. So my initial business was Utility Compliance Inc. And I chose Incorporated over LLC. That's another technical thing that you will have to develop. LLC, for me, and I'm not an expert at this, but for me, the LLC was, which is a limited liability company, was more for if I was going to have a partner or something where I needed to delineate, especially my business with my home, so there wouldn't be any citations or fines or sues, anything going to be against me and my family. So that's where the LLC would have been. But I wanted the benefits of a S corp, so I used Utility Compliance Inc. because several of the other entities that I would have to deal with, they needed incorporation in the title in order for them to give a PO, a purchase order. So I needed to be an incorporated entity in order to deal with the cities and counties that I was dealing with. So I kind of looked that up first, and I chose Utility Compliance Inc. So later on, I really started to do more OSHA compliance than I did utility compliance, and I'm an authorized OSHA trainer. I do the 10 to 30-hour courses for general industry and construction, and I'll touch you a little bit more about that later on. But right now, I chose that name, and eventually I decided I need to differentiate my public sector clients that didn't have to deal with OSHA. In Florida, there is no state OSHA, so they are completely exempt. So what I did is I developed another name, and it's a DBA, which is doing business as OSHA Compliance Help. So utility compliance is my first business, and then I created a DBA, OSHA Compliance Help. So the utility compliance has the tax ID number, and it has all the strappings, if you will, of the parent company. So that's what the utility compliance is. OSHA Compliance Help is actually their the sibling company, or the doing business as. So I use the same tax ID code that I have for utility compliance for my OSHA Compliance Help. My checks say utility compliance and OSHA Compliance Help. So the name itself, OSHA Compliance Help, implies to you that you're going to do business with me because I'm going to help you do some compliance assistance with OSHA. So that is one of the ways that I've leveraged that name. I have a group in LinkedIn. The LinkedIn group is OSHA Compliance Help. So even though my business is named OSHA Compliance Help, I get people drawn to that LinkedIn group because of that name as well. So that's only tip number one. You can tell I can talk about this stuff forever. So let's move over to the second one. The next is securing your domain name. So it is very important to secure that domain name, because if you do not have that domain name, what happens is you could get hijacked by people who actually have. I'll give you a story. So this is an illustration. I didn't sign up for utilitycompliance.com originally. I used utilitycompliance.net. Actually, it was the other way around. I had utilitycompliance.com first, and I didn't renew it with GoDaddy. And then someone hijacked my name. So GoDaddy was like, I think $10 at the time to get my domain name, and I decided, all right, I'll do that. So utilitycompliance.com, and then I didn't renew it, and I was like, yeah, I don't really need to renew it. Who's going to use utilitycompliance.com? But little did I know, there is a whole business model set up on buying expired domain names for that purpose. People look and they wait. There's a list that they get of expiring domain names, and they wait for that name to expire. Then they snatch it up and hijack that name for the company. So I ended up having to pay, I believe it was $190 or $200 to get my own domain name back that I had for $10. So it's important to go ahead and secure your name, whatever it is, secure it first. If you're trying to get a 2-letter domain, like if I wanted to do Sheldon Primus safety and try to find sps.com, I would have to probably fork out 5 figures, meaning $10,000 or more for that sps.com. So it's not likely. If it's the 2-letter, if you just want to go Sheldon Primus sp.com, you're probably going to have to deal with $100,000 to $200,000 just to get a domain name like that. So I wouldn't bother looking for the initials unless you do like spsafety.com, like sheldonprimussafety.com. You might be able to get something like that. But if you go into the actual 3 letters, 2 letters, 1 letter, forget it. You can't even afford a 1 letter. That's in millions. So I have so many domain names, and right now I'm like 100, 200 domain names that eventually either I'm going to build out or I'm going to sell. So that's a little hobby of mine. I'm also looking at the Q&A too. So if you guys have any questions, just go ahead and put it in that. That's what I'm going to look off to the side every now and then just to see if there's any questions affiliated with that. My tip 3 coming from here, and I'm really going to just sum up these tips in the next 5 minutes, and then we're going to go into something else beyond the 7 tips. So my tip 3 is don't quit your day job yet. I had a situation where I kind of got burnt out from government work. So my whole adult career, I've been working for a city, county, special district of the state in safety and health and wastewater. So I kind of got burnt out and I quit abruptly. Not like I'm leaving right now, but I gave my employer, I believe, 2 months, and I trained my next person, and I left on good terms. I've done some stuff for them afterwards, but use this time to develop your name. So if you're in 2017 getting your safety and health, just your name set up, then go ahead and use that time right now in 2017 to start developing your client list a little at a time. So let's say you're not ready to actually leave your job until 2020 because maybe it's a certain day, your birth year or something where you're at 65 or you're at that age where it's good to retire, but you want to do something else, then go ahead and wait for that. That is a better way of doing it. However, if you need to leave right away, there are some tips on what to do. So what I would do first is definitely, if there is no kind of, I forgot the wording for it, non-compete clause, then go ahead, grab some of those names. I'm not telling you to do anything illegal. I'm just telling you keep your relationships. So relationships is all you have in the consulting to get yourself started. And then actually it's all you have for the rest of it. Even after you get yourself started, the relationships are a big thing for you. So my tip number 4, when you're ready, and you can do this now while you're still working, start writing some journal articles. Start writing for anyone or anything you can. Start blogging. Build your actual your group of people that are going to follow you. This is what you need. You need to build that know, like, and trust that you've heard all about. It's true. You definitely need that. So it also positions you as a professional. So if you are looking for that positioning, especially if you have special skills, then start writing those articles. Not many are going to pay you, unfortunately. So go ahead and start writing those articles. And what that will do is not only position you as an expert, it's also going to lead to speaking engagements. So when you get into speaking engagements, that's really going to build your brand. That's when you get into that building mode of your brand. So sure, someone's going to read an article for free and you don't get anything from it. However, you're helping the community in whatever you're doing. And since we're talking about becoming a safety consultant, you're going to help people save lives. You're going to help people stop injuries and illnesses. That's the bottom line. That's why I became a safety consultant, not a consultant in anything else, because I am truly concerned about people. When I first started, I would take pictures, use those for my classes, and tell them about the stories, show them OSHA compliance with the pictures I took. And eventually I started building up the nerve and started talking to people and seeing, okay, I actually need to do something here. And I started talking to people and saying, all right, you're doing this unsafe. This is going to be an accident. If you hire me or not, then this is what I'm concerned about for your safety, for your life. And I started doing that a whole lot more. So that's why we're in it. The trade journals, the publications will lead to speaking. The speaking helps people first, but it also brings awareness to you, and it builds a brand. All right. Another thing is, and I'm hoping that I'm seeing as much of this live as I can as far as the questions and answers. So if not, I will have to look back because I'm not really seeing anything yet. So I'm going to keep going. Getting a safety designation, this is a big, long section of the article, and safety designations are as tricky as they come because you have designations in everything. You have, for me, I'm a certified occupational safety specialist. That is the COSS program, COSS, and I am a trainer for COSS. I actually am an evangelist, if you will, for COSS, because nowhere else are you going to be able to go through a week worth of class. You're going to get general industry and construction. It's going to be a hard-hitting class. I have students that are just all the homework that they're getting. They're just so amazed at all the different homework, and they're like, how am I going to get past this homework? And they do. They get past the homework. But for the most part, when they're doing that, they are learning. They're activating a part of their brain that they haven't since they're in college. So you get through that, you do a presentation, you pass the quiz, you become a certified occupational safety specialist in 1 week. Intensive class, you're giving up your week for this class, but it's worth it. Certified occupational safety manager is the same thing as the COSS week-long program. However, it's specialized for safety managers. So you get your COSM designation. Those are things that go behind your name. After you get your safety designation, now you also can back up your knowledge, your experience, and there's so many. So if you're looking at this article, I'll scroll down a little bit at a time as to not get you dizzy, but most people know the certified safety professional, and the way to go through that is your board of certified safety professionals. It's a very well recognized certification. You need a college degree to get that. However, there are several other degrees that you don't need, or certifications, I should say. So here's a few other certifications. If you want to look at the article, you can see the rest. My tip 6 is becoming an authorized OSHA trainer. I mentioned it earlier before, but how you do this is for your area, whichever area you're in, you want to, if you're in general industry, there's a certain prereqs that you need to meet, but once you get past those prereq points, which is basically experience in the job, you're going to want to do the 511 course first in general industry, and that's a 30-hour course. And then you're going to want to do the 501, and that again is a 30-hour course, but that's the train-to-trainer course. After you get out of that, you could do the 10 and 30-hour authorized OSHA training and anything else in those components of the 10 and 30-hour training. Then the next is you want to do the OSHA 510 for construction, and that's the prereq course, and then the 500, which is the train-to-trainer course. So then when you get done with that, you could do the OSHA 10 and the OSHA 30 for construction, and any of those related course material there if you have the experience. So do you have a designation now, and you're going to be an authorized OSHA trainer? you are set to go, because this leads you right into step 7, which is partnering with the safety association. That partnership I learned the hard way. So let's say you start your own business, and definitely get your business cards. You need that. Definitely another thing you need is you need to develop your website as, at first, your own online business card, but later on you can add features. So don't worry about that yet. Ooh, I got a question from Mario. Hey Mario, how you doing? Mario's past student. I actually not a past student. We met over in Atlanta. So anyway, so let me finish the thought, and then I'll answer that question there, Mario. But with your partnership with a safety association, you definitely need your cards. You want to have your online business cards, which is your website. But imagine your limitation with just reaching out to people business card by business card. Not only is that going to be expensive, let's say you have to get ads, that's going to be expensive to build a brand. You have safety councils around you. Safety councils are marketing agents. They know safety on the peripheral, but they don't have professionals on staff usually. So what you do is you partner with them, saying, I could provide the OSHA 10, I could provide the OSHA 30, and now what I will do is provide those courses. You work out an arrangement with them so that they still could have some money in this, because that's why they're in business for. And then from there, you guys could start a partnership. Now you become their professional, so their whole mailing list is the thing that you get access to, and you become the professional for that safety association and their members. So now you get referrals through that and their members. So good thought, and then I'll get to another one. Let's answer Mario's question. Says, with the various safety programs from the BCSP, which is Board of Certified Safety Professional Certification, how do you become certified to teach these courses, like teaching the CSP or the ASP prep courses? Actually, I am not aware of how to become a teacher for the prep courses. I believe it's just material you put together. So if you're seeking approval from the board to become a certified CSP prep person, they're probably not going to do that, because it's going to take money out of their pocket. Unfortunately, it is a money component, but no one is stopping you from creating your own CSP and ASP material, and then just especially if you have good success in that. So go ahead and develop that material. Then you yourself could use that as a digital download product, and that's something you could house on your website. So go ahead and develop it, make it something that's a digital product, and then someone can download it for whatever your price is for that material, and then maybe they can upgrade it for some coaching. So now you can start coaching these people in the material you provide, and now you've got a business with another perk. So the upsell would be, if you will, get your CSP prep course here, download it digitally, and I have these hours and these hours and these hours available, so I can coach you through the material and your CSP. So hopefully that might give you some ideas there, but it's always the upsell of the coaching. It's don't feel like you're doing something dirty by doing that. Unfortunately, it costs money to get these things out, so the upsell is part of how people help you with this, so that's it's a value that you have. So all right, I see you're good, thank you. So back to my thought, and I got this scheduled for 2:40. If there's more questions, I'll definitely go beyond that to Saturday. I'm not doing anything. It's Florida. It's nice out. So I'll hang out with you guys if you have more questions. But back to what I've learned with associations and partnering. There's many different things you can partner. When I first got started, I was partnering with places like the Florida Pest Control, Pest Professionals. So there's the Florida Pest Management Association. I became their safety consultant, and what I brought was OSHA Compliance for Pest Control. I didn't know anything about pest control, but I know about safety and compliance, so that's what I did. I did some speaking on safety and OSHA compliance for the pest management actual sector. So I broke it up sector by sector. So if you're a specialist in roofing, sure, go do some roofing associations, or you may actually have an association that you're working with. So that's one of the ways you can do it. So that's a thought process. So uh, now that I've got you guys through this, those are the 7 tips that I have. I'm going to give you guys a few other things that you're going to need to do. So I'm going to scroll back up, and one of the things that just want to make sure I covered everything there. Okay, good. So one of the things you do need, get a mailing list as quickly as you can. You can use something like MailChimp. You could use something like I use right now is what do I use? I've used so many, but I slipped from not lead pages, but it's another one, and it'll come to me as soon as I stop thinking about what I got. Is all of a sudden it'll come to me. But basically, what you need to do is develop your actual list just by having people sign up on your business card online, which is your web page. And truly, your web page right now only needs to be maybe 1 or 2 pages. Page 1 is how to reach you and a little bit about you. Page 2 is where you put your blog. And your blog is something you could do once a week, a safety and health topic that you put up. If you're on LinkedIn, you can actually do this on your LinkedIn page. I've got a LinkedIn. Hold on, let me look it up right now while I got you guys. But I actually have. I wrote an article years ago for Treatment Plant Magazine, TPO Magazine, that tells you a little bit about LinkedIn. So you're going to see me do my search on the fly. So I'm going to do TPO, Sheldon Primus, LinkedIn, and hopefully this will bring me to that LinkedIn article. They did top 10 profiles on LinkedIn, and I'm going to actually do a new tab for that. And here's the treatment plant article on LinkedIn. So it is tpo.com / just don't do all the backslash. Just go to tpo.com, tpomag.com, and then type in Sheldon Primus, and then you should be looking at this page that says LinkedIn. And though it's specific for utilities, is my wording, you could actually use this for yourself. So LinkedIn's a platform that I've used often to develop my brand, and that's really what you're doing. You're developing your brand. Right now, my profile says I'm an all-star. Woohoo! It's the first time I'm an all-star in anything, right? 4,000 plus connections. That is developing your brand. Blog pages and posts will help you develop that brand. So keep writing for these different places, and then you'll start getting years of this stuff. So for instance, I am looking at this magazine. I'm just going to type in my name. This is one that I write for. On the search results, you can see there's 29 search. I wonder if I've been arrested. I love these things that come up. That's another thing I'll talk to you guys about is your ads. But you scroll down, you can see some of the things that I've actually done through this article. So the other one I write for, and actually I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to wait till you guys see this pop up. So building your brand that way. All right, on my screen right now, there's a pop-up that came up. This is what your websites will look like eventually. Don't have to do it right now, but eventually you want your website to start having features like this. And most people, their business starts with the web first, and then it translates into your personal life. So that pop-up is a way for you to just get somebody to see what you're doing. I use WordPress as my hosting. So I will go to a WordPress page. This one here is my safety culture online. And my safety culture online, you'll see it kind of load up. And then as it's loading up, it's going to actually give you a pop-up. And this is my way of saying, hey, look at me. And that pop-up for the safety culture online is, I forgot the widget that I'm using, but it's a pop-up widget. So that ad pops up, and might not because I visited before, but basically it's just to grab someone's attention. So that's something you could do later on. Um, so this is one of the sites I have developed. Uh, Going back to, and this again is to help you with your own safety consulting business when you're getting started. Uh, you're going to have to give away some things for free. And one of those things is your speaking time. So yes, we definitely want to reach out to people, make sure that we're reaching them for safety and health concerns. However, we also want to make sure that with the speaking engagements that we try to get the next engagement. So if someone likes you, you say, hey, thanks. Is there someone else that you think might benefit from this talk? Or when's your next event? I'd love to be able to speak at that too. And as you're doing that, you're getting tons of cards, give out your cards, talk to everybody, keep notes. The big thing is keeping notes of who you speak to so that you could go back and refer and give them a call, send them an email. The fortune is in the follow-up. If you haven't heard that before, that is the truth. Follow-up is very important. I use many follow-up things. One of the things I use the most, and I'll show you guys my convoluted screen, but as you see these pop-ups here, this is your notepad. It's a sticky note, I believe is what they call it. So I've got sticky notes, and I use these little sticky notes here just to make sure that I have different wording that I need. So I got a whole bunch all piled up here. You can see all my little sticky notes, and that's my tool that I'm using for my follow-ups. So definitely when you get that name, you get that card, keep your pen with you right on the back of that person's card where you met them and what you need to talk to them about. So that's one of the things that you can use. Definitely do that. And then follow up. Don't forget, follow up with them in a short amount of time and say, hey, thank you. It was great meeting you. I would like to meet with you for dinner, or I'd like to meet with you for lunch. Not dinner, usually it's lunch or breakfast. And, work it out. Whatever you guys talked about there, carry it on in that meeting. Networking events, in my experience, are as close to a waste of time as ever, unless it's a safety event. If it's an event for a chamber of commerce, if it's an event on a meetup, quite honestly, the type of person you're looking for to start your safety business isn't a decision maker, and probably they're not even the influencer. So in my opinion, it's a waste of time unless you're doing a networking event at something like let's say it's an association meeting for manufacturing and only manufacturers are there, or it's an association meeting with contractors and the contractors there. Those are good networking events. The business events and the meetups, if they're not specific enough, it's really wasting your time, and you're probably could have done something better during that time period. So unfortunately, that's been my experience. If there's any more questions, go ahead and shoot some questions, and I'll answer anything that comes up. And I'm definitely looking. I got a little time delay on mine, so as you're asking the questions, I might come up a little bit later. But I am doing a Become a Safety Consultant course. This is the actual page that it's going to be. If you go to Primus Institute, you're going to see the course material for you guys that actually took the time and decided that you're going to listen to this. I'm not going to charge you the price here that you're seeing. So if you go to the OSHA.com, be a consultant, which I'll scroll back. Here's my OSHA.com, OSHA Compliance Help, OSHA.com. I wish if I got that one. That 4-letter is worth a ton. But my OSHA Compliance Help, you click on your tips to become a safety consultant, and actually it's changed because I didn't update mine. So I'll say be a consultant, you'll see this. Right now what I'm doing is, for you guys, I really need some help putting this course together. So if you're interested in being part of the beta group, it'll only cost $50. You can do here. This is a registration page, and I'm only going to do 150 for you guys, but everyone else is going to be 380 when the course comes out. So I'm going to give you that course. You're going to dissect the course. You're going to tell me, Sheldon, I like this, like this. This has helped me. This hasn't helped me. And then after your input, then I'm going to go ahead and do the full price and price it to everyone else after. But the course currently is being housed on the Primus Institute, which I don't have the tab for right now. So if you go to primus.institute, and under the Primus Institute, you're going to see very bottom, be a consultant course. Just kind of scroll through that and see if that interests you on some of the things we did cover, but it's going to be so much more in depth afterwards. So I definitely want to do that. I was kind of waiting to see if another question will pop up while I showed you guys this, but you can find it. So one last note. I know I don't want to take your full day, but one of the biggest things that shifted my business, and I mean shifted, was when I decided to become a trainer for someone else. So when I became a trainer for the Certified Occupational Safety Specialist group, the COS group, that changed my business exponentially, if you will, because now I have a classroom of students that are listening to me, and I don't sell them anything. I don't do anything that's unethical during the classroom, but I get a lot of emails, a lot of letters afterwards saying, Sheldon, help. And I say, sure, and I'll help them as much as I can. If it's anything more than 30 minutes of research and everything else, then I would do like a consulting fee cost, or I give them a proposal, and I've gotten some proposals out of that. So if you could actually find a training outlet for you, and training is pretty easy. It's really not too bad. Just don't, just the way I train this is a training session to me. I do all of my classes just like this. I mean, it's you and a buddy talking, even a 40-hour class, even a 30-hour class, you and a buddy talking. Don't take it too seriously. And for training, that is actually going to be one of the best things that you should do. So I'm going to go back up to stop sharing my screen for a second here so you guys can see me. So if you can start training for a company, do it. Find one that you, if you're a specialist in something, fire a specialist in let's say it's a safety and health topic that not too many people do, and you could find a certification group or you could find a special training group. Go ahead and do that and be a trainer for them. And the other thing you need to know is how to do a proposal. When you give someone a proposal, this proposal needs to be quality proposal. It needs to be something that when they look at, they are wowed at it. It can't be anything too simple. So the proposal itself is a technique that is very tough, and I'll show you guys in the class if you do decide to do that option. But the proposal itself is truly it's almost like artwork. You got to really think ahead of what somebody wants and listen to them in the meeting when you're sitting, as you're developing this proposal. You're going to listen to them really closely. And as you're listening to them really closely, you're going to give them what they need. And the way you put it together, though, is the key. So here I'm going to show you guys a little under the hood of what it looks like. Share the screen one more time. And I promise we're ending with this one. Or we'll just go ahead and end with this one. But let's show me my application. This is a city in my area that needed some training. So if I don't see any questions after I show you guys this, then we will stop. But all right, so here is my proposal. Let's make it a little bit smaller. So they needed the safety and health. It's the city of Point Gorda. So they wanted me to do a little proposal. So it is truly the book and the cover thing. You're not going to buy a book if the cover looks terrible. So here's this proposal. Here's my utility compliance side. It's not my OSHA compliance. I've got a table of contents there so that they can find everything very quickly. So scope of work, what their responsibility is, what my responsibility is, what my deliverables will be, my period of service, my cost, how much it costs them in payments, because sometimes I give people payment options, and so I give them some payment options, and then my biography. So right there, I'll tell them exactly who I am. It tells them everything related to me, and it's all broken out. So I'll give you guys just a quick scan. I don't want to give you guys too much as far as, after a while the brain starts hurting. So this is a quick scan of what each one of those headings would look like. I got my scope, nice and clear. I got pages numbered. That means a big thing. Here's my services that I'm going to render. Here are all the deliverables for what they're getting, the period of service. I give them the cost, and I even give them a few incentives as far as the payment. There's my cost for the contract with a 50-50 payment option. And then I also have, my biography. So a little bit about me, why they want to go with me. And then at the very end of that, I tell them who are all my clients. I've worked with the EPA, I've worked with consulting firms, I've worked with different cities and states, oil and gas. And so I give them a nice list to let them know that, you're not alone, that I've had some business. So right now, if you're just starting, you're not going to have that list yet. But you will, as you do, keep adding those to your proposals. I gave a list, a little thing of what people have been talking about me in my different type of training from their departments or whatever. So name the names of the people too. That's important in your proposals, so people could see, who has been doing business for you, with you. So proposals and starting, that is an art form of developing a proposal. So I really want to at least let you guys see what that looks like, and I'll definitely be going over that with the course. But all right, I do not see any other questions. I want to thank you so much for spending some time with me. And if you guys do have anything else, you can always reach me. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, so go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel too. And I do have another one, which is a Patreon channel, and it's the Patreon is patreon.com/OSHA Compliance Help. Really what that is it's a different variation of crowdfunding, because it takes a lot for me to put all this stuff together, and it takes away some time. So if people choose to actually spend some money, and it's like $2 a pledge, or some maybe $5 a pledge or whatever, and then they get content that is a little bit more special. Not special, but they get featured content, and then sometimes they get things first on my videos before I put them on the OSHA Compliance Help channel. And I want to tell you, definitely use this OSHA Compliance Help channel for your training. So if there's anything that you need training wise, send me an email, Sheldon@OSHAComplianceHelp.com, and say, hey Sheldon, can you do a video on this? And sure, I do that, especially with my Patreon subscribers. And I'm just starting this, so I don't have many now. I'm not even sure if I have one now, to tell you the truth, because I started this like 2 days ago. So I may not. Who knows? So what I'll do is I'll definitely do that. And go ahead and mute me if you want. And you can see a picture of something, and go ahead and start teaching on the picture of the video that you have. And I've got so much videos in my not everything. I don't do a fire protection much. I don't do I do a lot of process safety management, but there's some things, some topics I don't do much, so I may not have the videos for that, but if I can, I will, and I'll post it so you can use that as your teaching. So go ahead, and I'll love to do that. So I went over my 240, but okay. But thank you so much, guys, for stopping by, and I hope this helped you out as much as you can. I'll take one quick peek to see if I'm missing any of the chat. And you have to refresh my page for that, because it's been there. So it looks like I am good. I'm looking at my dashboard, looking at behind the scenes. So I look like it's good. Thank you guys, and I will be ending the broadcast. So have a wonderful day. See ya.